Hello and welcome to Writer Showcase number 167. I am your host.
106.7.
Yeah.
Oh no, please don't.
I'm sorry. I
Not,
have been around too many Gen Alphas and Gen Zs.
Kill it dead.
It won't. Unfortunately, this is the future.
Oh man, the future is bleak.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
we haven't gotten to. It's not 67 and is an innocent number.
You know, at
69
least
is
there's
the problem. 69 is the one where it gets problematic.
Yeah. Gee.
No, I think 69 is now less bad than 67.
Why is 67
Why 69?
bad?
Yeah, 6-7 is literally just them saying two numbers that are in sequence, and it's just stupid and silly. It has no meaning behind it. It's just literally silly numbers.
It must be annihilated.
69, however, is literally explicit. And as we discovered in the server chat, a level of explicit that I am very much not comfortable with.
Yes, but
Won't stop my characters from using it, though.
even that's
even
not as
doing
bad
it.
as 67.
Anyway, we shall let the host do his hosty thing.
Indeed.
Yes,
Alrighty.
please do.
All right, boys and girls. Let's.
What girls?
Also fair. Well, Trip occasionally shows up.
I don't know if I'm not sure if Trip would count herself as a girl.
Well, she is of the female sex, so.
Yeah, but I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah.
I know that whatever I say will be canon, will be held against me. So let's just get it on with.
Yes.
Get it on with.
Better move right along.
Yeah.
Nice weather we're having.
Oh yes,
Look.
very. Actually, that's actually kind of true. It is pretty nice and sunny outside. However, I very much prefer the rain.
Here it's pretty horrible, but I'm not in California, so.
Trust me, every day is hell in California, except for the days where it's raining. Then it's heaven.
Okay.
We appreciate our rain. Rain good. More rain, please.
You must be in Southern California.
Yes.
Utah also
Don't
needs
dox
rain.
me.
Utah's been one of the worst. It's had the ski resorts are it's been bad for ski resorts especially.
Well, the
like
snow.
It's super warm here, and it's like April weather.
Oh well, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. Yeah, it's brutal here. But anyway.
Speaking of brutal, who would like to go first?
Lauren, you up for it?
I thought Chris was going to go first, but I'm actually ready, so I can go first too.
Well, I was only going to go first if you didn't want to go first. So if you would like to go first, by all means.
Okay. Have a second. If I can remember how to share on this thing. Yes. Share screen.
Hold on. I'm going to ping everyone. Oh, you already pinged everyone.
Okay, sharing the map. And now, let's see. Okay, so
Oh, right. I can't call in. I can't call in Axula. He's at service today.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, maybe you can catch us on the rewatch.
Probably.
Okay. So Margaret and Barama have arrived in Tenna, the capital city, where they're going to, spoiler, but they're going to be introduced to the Emperor Epsqueque.
Just say Epstein, man. I have known people who have tried to use subtlety before. They were all cowards.
Yeah. Anyway, they're going to make the Emperor, who has his issues in terms of what he's into and all that. But right now they're in the capital and they're seeing all the glorious architecture and stuff and all that. Some personages depicted in the Plaza of Greatness had not until recently been known in Sandrinian legend at all. Wow, I never heard of Sura before, said Barama. I did, said Margaret. We call him Sur, but he was a Chagan king and our worst enemy. He murdered our hero Azargon. Then he felt the officer Majara's eyes upon her and realized she'd said the wrong thing. Again. I forgot to do the voices, but anyway. Oh, but well, maybe your Sura is a different person, interposed Barama hastily. Or we're stupid and got it wrong. Barama studied the inscription. Here it says he was Sandaranian and conquered Chugga, and that's why Chugga is Sandran's rightful property. Pfft. I mean, that sounds glorious. I hope they win, don't you? Yes, glory is glorious. Glorious. Even the native Sandaranian myths and legends felt different here. The Elona's goat looked like a dragon and acted like one too. Whilst its more entertaining exploits, some of the mildly scatological, were left out. Or a supposed mass murder of natives was lovingly depicted, whereas in Chiritaba, the other city, he might have been making best friends with them. I like Sandaranian legends better in Chiritaba, said Margaret. Here they seem to have got a bad case of, well, never mind. Never mind indeed, said her father. Your art criticism shows a want of style. We're in the abode of destiny. We're in the abode of destiny, agreed Margaret with a barely perceptible sigh. Want of style is not to be desired, said Majara. Its consequences can be unpleasant. Margaret took the hint and clammed up. For the moment, though I'd rather be locked up and than join the Barusa, or maybe not. Half a second. Sorry, need some water. They're working on improving the capital, boomed Uncle Garawada. It becomes ever more glorious with each passing day. Our emperor will doubtless make this the most beautiful city in the world. The abode of destiny, to coin a phrase, said Pylamar. Majara looked at him sharply, but he bore an expression of such innocence that Majara decided these provincials must be even more simple-minded than he thought. Meanwhile, Margaret and Barama pretended to admire the Plaza of Greatness's triumphal columns, any one of which could contain a house or two. Indeed, the plaza had contained several houses before they'd all been demolished, and their inhabitants left to find housing elsewhere. These columns, with 4 instead of their usual 3 corners, were surmounted by a bust of what was meant to be the emperor, glaring gloriously. The Emperor's visage weighed down upon Margaret and Barama, crushing them. Finally, after an hour or two, they escaped from the plaza only to find themselves in front of... "What is that?" said Margaret, her eyes as wide as an owl's at the sight of a garish rectangle, adorned with a mural of a personified Sandaran preparing herself for the Emperor's embraces. "It's the Imperial Theatre, but you're too young for it," said her father. "Or too old. Never mind either way. The pink and pastel blue decor is undeniably bright, though." Tasteless tyranny was all the rage, and the famed subtlety and elusiveness of the Turanian drama had been relegated to the less chic parts of town. They passed on, but the sensory onslaught on their provincial eyes continued. "I've never seen a temple like that," said Margaret, pointing at the Temple of Celestial Splendor. "Ingala kwe Yindaraiza'a," which had begun life as a temple to the Chuggan Emperor. Chuggan deities had been turned into the 9 aspects of the godhead, whether the robe fit, as they say, or not. It mostly didn't, and there was nothing consoling or even inspiring about these sacred 9. "Karat looks very... pardon me. Karat looks very august, doesn't he?" she ventured. "I've never been frightened of Karat before," but she had the sense not to say that out loud. "They do say he rules the blessed in heaven," said Barama, feeling awkwardly with his false goatee, "but I didn't know he used his enemies as a footstool." The saints were no comfort either. The gentle Malala Amma wielded a sword and a ferocious scowl, and the conversion of Sandaran was presented as strictly a fire and sword affair. Munululu'u, the holy woman who had planted the sacred garden that formed the nucleus of the botanical garden of Tena, was hardly present at all. I thought Malala Amma was kind of merciful," said Margaret. Majara gave them a look, and Count Pilamar tightened his grip on her hand. "It doesn't actually say he didn't kill enemies of the truth brutally," said Barama. Gadawala tapped his fingers against his palm. "Hush! Enough of this prating." Majara took out a tablet and began scratching notes on it. "Great One's fair offspring's understanding of the truth is rather unfashionable," he remarked. "Great One must pardon them," said Count Pilamar. "They are very young, and we out in the provinces are so ignorant." Majara's watchmen closed in on the visitors. "Best not say anything," Margaret finally realized. "I'm bound to say the wrong thing. Why can't I learn to follow Father's advice?" And then she saw it, to the right. The Imperial Palace, the Palace of the Universe, the Agarata Bingarashama, where their fates would be decided. A huge gilt wall loomed over them, bedight with verses about how wonderful the Emperor was. And ever and anon, a bas-relief of exalted visage flanked by the glorious marsupial goat or dragon or whatever it was. And that was all. But it was enough. More than enough. Margaret's heart jumped into her throat, and she suddenly felt as if she were about to be boat sick and could not speak. Pilamar gently loosened his grip on her hand and remarked, "Most impressive." All Barama could manage was, "Oh." He too looked ill. Let's see. Let's see, how long have I been at it?
Ten or so minutes.
Okay,
Not very long.
we can do a little more then. A little bit more. Fortunately, they would not yet be staying in the Palace of the Universe. Visitors from Mindarite regions stayed in less fashionable areas, like the Old Town, where the Old Palace was located, or the Quarata, Teacher's Quarter. There was a special Mindarite quarter, Tinduura, but that was for the lower orders, and Parlamar ranked too high. And anyway, Garawada and Barama could not or would not stay there. So they were instead to be lodged in the Old Palace, where the kings of Sandra had dwelt before the Chuggan conquest. To get there, they would have to order a rickshaw, even if it's stuck in Margaret's crawl. Must we? They look barbaric. Sadly, yes, said her father. No self-respecting noble in Tena can do without at very least a rickshaw, if not a litter. Ajara gave them a look, but it only meant, do they really not have rickshaws out there? Not that he had in any way relaxed his vigilance. Provincials were stupid, but they were also of doubtful loyalty. I don't see a problem, he said. Everyone dried up while he ordered the rickshaw, and there was silence until they reached the slave market and saw the wares being inspected like cattle. The conversations among the buyers and sellers were not of the most edifying. You expect 21 golden emperors for that? Look at that blemish. Let me see if she's... Here the buyer panted. A virgin. Oh, by Karat. I like virgins too, said Ajara pleasantly. The count's faces were a mask. But Barama turned red, and Margaret had to keep from reeling. I don't like this, Majara. Are all court nobles here like this? The Hagman continued. I don't care about such follies. I just want to know how much they can harvest per day. Do you have statistics handy? I'll deduct from this price. I'll deduct from the price if it doesn't hold up this rock for an hour. That's not quite so long as it sounds, since the Trinian hour is only 36 minutes and 27 seconds, but still a handful. I'll take them on trial, but if they don't meet my standards, I'll kill them, and you will pay me a refund with interest to make up for my lost time and money. And so on and so forth, ad nauseam. The things done to the slaves at the market were often as indecent as they were cruel, and Margaret thought she was going to retch. Is this what the court's like? A lot of ugly, cruel lectures. I hate this place, and we're not even at court yet. What horrible, horrible people these Sandranian nobles are, except Warama and Uncle Gadawada, of course. I wish we were home riding Starlight, or making puppets, or even studying panegyric. Then she reflected. It's worse for the slaves, but I better not say anything or father will get hurt. Yet for all her efforts, she couldn't quite conceal her disgust. When they finally got out of the slave market, feeling rather soiled, they made their way... Half a second. Let me see. I think I'm going to... Okay. Sorry. When they finally got out of the slave market, feeling rather soiled, they made their way straight through a maze of streets inhabited by artisans until they reached the old wall. There, the bas-reliefs, partly worn away, depicted stories from the Warramad along the older legends. With the marsupial goat along the lines of the earlier along with older legends, with the marsupial goat playing dirty tricks on Delo's enemies and the like. Very unfashionable, said Marjara. But I dare say it's good enough for you. At least we're farther away from the Emperor now. Margaret tried to console herself. And unfashionable or not, I prefer these pictures to that stuff in the Plaza of Greatness. Barum was trying to laugh at the goat's escapades. Neither he nor Margaret was very easily amused at the moment. Marjara led them up to the ancient gate, which was guarded by a few bored-looking guards under an even more bored-looking captain. Greetings, Captain Muchacha. No, greetings, Captain Muchacha Bemwera Ina, he said. Be pleased to welcome Counts Morojobo of Chitata, that is Sirthatan, and Garawada of the Ambata, with their fair offspring, Barama and Shirumbawaga, that is Margaret. I and my men will be staying here as well. We are Great One's squad of honor. Margaret tried to keep her face a mask. Honor? Oh, just leave me without this honor. I welcome Great Ones, muttered Muchacha distractedly. Let's see. Okay. I think we'll stop here. I'm running out of steam.
Fair
Don't
enough.
worry about it. All right.
It sucked.
No. That was not bad at all. But might I make a few humble suggestions if I would be so audacious?
No. Yes.
Name me the guard captain, Muchacha? Yes?
Oh, Marjara, either one.
I think that's a little on the nose.
That's actually an amusing coincidence.
It is quite an amusing coincidence. Is he a very muchacho kind of guy?
No. Cha-cha in Sandaranya means great, and you add mu to it to make it a personal name, so it comes out as muchacha. and I wasn't actually. I mean, it's not that I didn't know that was happening when I did it, but I knew. But it wasn't cha-cha. I was formed through philology, it corresponds to a different language. There's a related language, and cha-cha is the equivalent in Sandaranian. So, and then you have to add the mu because it's a person. So I ended up with muchacha. And I'm like, whoa, how did that happen? But okay.
That's hilarious. That's just a hilarious coincidence either way. I like that.
Yeah.
I think there was like a shitata or something like that. I heard that on like.
Oh, that's actually chitatan, which is Sirthatan. Okay. So it's got a CH, not an SH. So
okay,
we're probably safe.
Okay, I was just double checking because I heard that, and yeah, I could have that was just me. Let's see. Outside of that, that wasn't actually pretty bad. That was actually kind of good, you know. I mean, it seems like. So, what was the narrative purpose behind this chapter, if I may ask? Like, when you were writing it, what was the end goal that you had in mind?
Yeah, I think the idea was to give a description of the area so that people will know what we'll have a visual context. The thing is that this is in a different part of the world. It's not in a European part of the world at all. I need to do some description so people will know what's going on. But there's also the thematic thing of the whole like the whole excessive glorification of stuff and Margaret and Barama They're they're worried about meeting the emperor, but in the meantime, they have to be subjected to all this panegyric grandeur stuff.
It is definitely an opulent city. I'll definitely say you got that across.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And I also do like that there was also a culture clash as well with what the humble rural farmers imagined their deities and saints to be like versus what the inner city, what not the inner city, just the city folk in general, what they think of for their deities and such. And also there's, of course, like the way that a story got interpreted between two separate different cultures and, what got left out and what was put in
yeah,
and what they decided to highlight and what they didn't. And it's like it's quite interesting. You gave the impression that this is at least a three-dimensional world where there is nuance to be had. There is a
good.
level of nuance to be had, and I also do like like you made it very apparent that these kids are seeing something that is very much not what they expected or not how they were brought up, and they
Yeah,
just sort of have to suck it up and take it because if they don't, they will damage the status of their family.
yeah, and we wouldn't want that.
Oh, absolutely not, especially with how this emperor has been built up so far.
Yeah,
So I guess mission accomplished.
Mhm.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you did I really got a sense that this is a really like incredible city akin to something like Constantinople in its prime.
Yeah,
Incredible
yeah,
game.
do something like that. Do something like that. Maybe a little bit less tasteful in Constantinople because the emperor isn't very tasteful, but yeah.
So yeah, evil bad guy city where the gods and deities are and saints are depicted as vicious, brutal, and merciless versus what the innocent country folk think of them.
Yeah, kind of.
And that also does a really good job of like establishing the difference of mindset between the two groups as well, between our protagonists and the villains,
Good.
because the villains are basically worshiping strength, brutality, and mercilessness, whereas the heroes emphasize it. And you also made a mention that a matronly figure, akin to like the Virgin Mary, was notably absent from it. So so we also have that bit of patriarchal society mixed in over there with the rest.
Yeah, she's this saint who was responsible for the gardens and
Yep.
stuff. And gardens aren't very. I mean, the gardens play a role too in this thing, but the gardens are not emphasized so much.
And why would they? They're in a city.
Yeah,
What room has a city for gardens except for beauty and to upkeep the morale of the people? And this is very clearly a very brutal society that doesn't really care about making the people happy. It just cares about compliance.
yeah, it's not very nice these days.
You did it. You know what? The fact that I
Uh,
got all of that from something as basic as architecture really says quite a lot about how well you crafted this world.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
No,
Unfortunately,
actually,
no. This is a writer showcase.
yeah, this is a writer showcase. I will try to record and release a. I need to do another commentary on my Triad Theorist videos. But this is not a song. This is an original work.
Yep.
Uh,
Don, would you like to explain it to Mr. Isaac in the chat?
So this is functionally a basically a writer showcase where it's kind of think of it as a live writers group where we read our work live on screen and then we give each other critiques. I will try to put out a and they are listed. I'll try to create a playlist for them or update the current existing playlist. Since I have marked them off in order. We've done about 167 of these, so we do admittedly have them infrequently. It really depends on if I get 3 guests on. I'm going to try and put out a commentary at some point this week on one of my Three-Eyed Theorist videos. But this is just an original work that our friend Bleeping Valerian, or Bleeping Valerian Dunclone, has been, as he's sometimes called.
No.
I just know him as Count Balerion, and I will refer to him as Count Balerion.
That's appropriate. We accept that.
Indeed.
Occasionally, sometimes Boomerang.
No.
And
Okay. Actually, sometimes I go by Count Boomerian.
depending on how jokey I am feeling.
Fair enough.
No, that's pretty much all that I have in terms of critique and commentary. Just excellent world building overall, and also I think that you communicated quite a bit about our protagonist girl over here, what she thinks of these people.
Yeah.
May I ask a few questions, by the way? Well, so, what is the geopolitical situation over here like? Are these people basically being colonized? Are they being ruled by an empire, or did they originate from the empire?
Yeah, let's see. It's an empire, but let's see. The map. I was trying to share the map, but I don't know if it's visible or not.
Oh, it's
To
visible. I can see it.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so it's like a multi-ethnic empire. The center is around here. This is where the Sandoranians are, but they're also Sandoranians here and here as well. These people here, Lady Margaret comes from around here-ish.
So he's just at the outskirts of the empire, where
Yeah,
the Sandoranians are anyway.
Yeah, they're ethnically a little different. They're distantly related, but ethnically different. So they were conquered, but of course, this is a period before nationalism and all that. So having a multi-ethnic empire would not be considered odd back then. However, there is a hierarchy with the Sandoranians being kind of on top. And that Mindar is over here. Let's see. So and then there's other Akari over there. They're really the Terranians. They're more culturally advanced. Some of them are in the Empire and some of them aren't. That's the capital there, Tena, on the island of Ndogala near the mainland. And
Sonda? Who's Sonda? So Sandoranian is the kingdom, right?
It's like the main center of it is Sandaran. It's called the Empire of Sandaran. And there are different provinces and stuff, kind of like the Roman Empire, only not necessarily big.
Nitio.
So does that clarify things?
Yeah, functionally, but yeah, I think that it does. I was just we gotta respond to the chat.
Oh, okay. Right how I couldn't see because I was looking at I had that other thing open.
Nice, thank you.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Wiss, summarize your stuff.
All right. So, oh crap, I didn't have a recap prepared for this. So, in the previous chapter, as I'm sure you may or may not remember, Valerie and her team decided to go out to a bazaar that was being held by various hunters, trappers, and so on, who decided to come in and visit the town. Sheila had the bright idea that they could go over there to collect some information on this bioengineered super weapon that they were sent to hunt down. And so they went out, they did so, and they went out, they spoke with this various peoples, tried to get as many hints as much information as possible, when Valerie stumbled upon a booth containing a when Valerie stumbled upon a booth being owned by an archaeologist where there was an orrery on display, and it was over there that she and Dove learned of a tale of a woman who's basically sacrificed her own husband to underneath the light of a blood moon to obtain the power needed to never again be dominated by either beast nor man, and from her sprung forth great empires in the ancient civilizations of this planet. But of course, it is all just myth. They got a text asking to meet up at a location, so that way they can have lunch with the rest of the team and discuss their findings from the bazaar, which then leads us over to chapter number 4, Bandage. Valerie Luna marched into the dimly lit restaurant with Dove tailing her with a gentle stride. The den, as it was called, had a dark wooden planks for its walling, with yellow lights like candles seeping through the lampshades at the center of each table. Along the walls were booths with fine leather seats, and above them hung various plaques, taxidermized animal heads, and even antique wooden and steel firearms from a bygone era. Finally, her eyes settled on the bar at the far end, noticing a crowd gathered around. A constant murmur filled the room as Valerie and Dove approached the crowd. They slipped between the men, making their way to the bar and finally seeing what had captivated the men so much. It was Sheila. Valerie's brows pulled together, her expression narrowed into a sharp glare. Right beside Sheila were a few dozen empty shots, and across from her was another man struggling to gulp down another shot of clear alcohol. Valerie's nose wrinkled, her nostrils flared with disgust. Of course, this is what you were doing while you were waiting for us. Did you mean to drag us over here so you could show off? The man slammed a glass on the countertop, and the crowd went silent for a moment while the bartender poured another shot for Sheila. The man looked woozy, constantly tugging at his partially undone shirt. His face reddened. Sheila chuckled and raised another glass. What's wrong, big guy? Feeling a little tipsy, are we? The man hiccuped. As if I'd lose to a dainty little girlie like you. Sheila's grin widened. We'll see about that. I promised I'd drink you under, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Valerie's ear twitched. The whispering between the men was loud enough to hear. How's she doing that? There's no way a girl of her size could handle that much. Valerie scoffed. If only they knew that a phoenix's body can metabolize virtually any substance. Eating is more of a suggestion for our... She paused, her throat clogging for a moment. Their bodies. She glanced over at Dove, seeing a slight amusement across her face, and felt the slightest pang of betrayal. She nudged her fiancé in the arm, giving her a sharp look as Sheila chugged down another shot and slammed it down. Valerie didn't need her girlfriend's ability to sense the spirit of others, or the empathic abilities that came with it to feel the buzz in the air. The soldier sluggishly grabbed a hold of another shot. He steadily raised the glass to his mouth, some spilling off, some of it spilling over himself as he clumsily poured it down. Then he choked and spat it out. He coughed and wheezed, slamming down the glass as the crowd around them went into a frenzy. Valerie glanced around herself, scanning the men who surrounded them. They were cheering. The red-haired daughter of the dove raised her arms triumphantly and yelled, "All right, you sons of bitches! Who's your mama?" The men shouted her name. They chanted her name. Valerie blinked and looked at them again. A crushing weight pressed against Valerie's heart. She almost began to cave in on herself. Her gaze frantically darted between them, befuddled and dumbfounded. Finally, Valerie turned her ire to her subordinate. "They respect you? For this?" Her hands clenched into fists, a vindictive anger bubbling up when she recalled her first interaction on this planet. "You whore yourself out like this, abuse your body, and they respect you for it." She caught something in her periphery. Sunny, the vermilion-haired phoenix, ran up to hug her companion, and Sheila reciprocated. Valerie's glare remained as indignant as before, though it now focused on the bashful phoenix. But, soon enough, Sunny's eyes opened and widened with horror. Sheila traced Sunny's gaze straight to the vindictive Valerie and released Sunny. Sheila cleared her throat and put on a smile. "All right, boys, drinks are on me. Go nuts," she shouted, receiving an ecstatic uproar. Valerie watched her hop off the chair and approach her, still wearing that cocky grin. "You childish, immature brat. Did you want me to see this? Did you want to embarrass us?" Valerie tensed, stifling the thoughts, smothering the rage as she put on a stern facade. "I see you've helped yourself to their entire cellar. I suppose you're going to have to pay a tiny bill." Sheila scoffed. "Don't worry about it, Vowels. Tender says they've got enough to get Polis drunk for a night." Dove coughed and stepped forward. "Speaking of which, did you say you wanted to meet up for lunch?" "A remarkably late lunch," Valerie muttered. Sheila perked up. "Oh, right. This way." She nudged her head to the right, and the others followed. Sheila had gotten them a booth, seemingly in accordance with Valerie's preference. They slipped in and took their seats, with Valerie quickly becoming perplexed. Her eyes wandered to the table and noticed a physical, folded piece of hard paper. The menu. She scanned the table, seeing half-finished appetizers and partially drunk glasses. "How long have you been waiting for us?" Her brows pulled together. "Or did you just help yourselves?" Valerie returned to her menu, the clamoring and chattering of men filling the dead silence between them. How fortunate they labeled all their options. With how backwards this planet has been, I'm surprised they were considerate enough to mark the spicier foods and the healthier options. "Excuse me, ma'am." A voice disturbed her ears. Valerie's gaze wandered to the waiter. "Can I get you something to drink?" Valerie pouted, annoyed. She glanced back at the menu, finding the best salad available, and pointed at it. "Water, but I'd also like to order this as well." The man leaned over, and made a note. "Anything else?" Dove shook her head. "No, thanks. I'll just get a cup of water too." The waiter cleared his throat. "Sparkling or still?" Valerie snapped. The waiter nodded and wrote it down while Valerie returned her attention to Sheila. She almost looked offended. Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll have it out right away." Valerie side-eyed him.
You cut out. Wes, are you there? Hello? Hello? I can't hear anything. What is going on? Second. Okay, it's not just me. Huh. Weird. Huh. Wes, are you there? Wes. Whiskykins. Where are you? Hello? 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 Wes? Are you okay? I'm gonna try something. Our apologies for the dead air, folks.
Sora stepped out. What happened to Lucia's chapter?
I have no idea. He seems to have died.
Oh dear.
I
That's been toured.
I pinged him, but he hasn't responded. I think his internet must have died or something. It was
Yeah.
not something I did.
It is unfortunate.
Most unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, don't know what we're going to do then.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll probably end it there then, since we might have it just to end it there, since and I'll just wait till next week. I'm totally okay with that. All right. Well, since Wiss is having technical difficulties, we'll just call it good. All right. See you guys later.
Have a riot.